So these are all things that we're going to study the heck out of come the month of, once the season's over. Obviously, this week is about Miami and Miami only, but so football is so much more complex than it's not basketball where you can point at one person, or golf where you can look inward. There's 11 guys on the field, and each of those guys have a football coach. There's a lot of moving parts in one play. There's a lot of moving parts, and to try to pinpoint one person just to make people feel good about giving a reason why something's failing, it's not fair to players. It's not fair to the GM and his scouts. It's not fair to it's not fair to anybody. But finding the truth is what is fair, and that's something that takes time.
Robert, what would you say the truth is about your quarterback situation? I mean, how unsettled do you feel? I know you got to get through Miami, and you don't know what's going to take place in the offseason, but is it fair to say that you really don't have much of an idea what your quarterback will be for the future?
There's still development that we think still taking place with both Mike and Zach. Again, these are things that I'll leave up to Joe, and again, some things that we got to look at in the offseason. But every position is always under evaluation, guys. Even with as good as the defense has been this year, we're going to look everywhere. You're just trying to find ways to get better, and whether it's schematically or personnel-wise. And but with the quarterback position, no different than receivers, O-line, tight end, running back. We're going to do our best to make sure that we figure out exactly what's best for this organization at this time in 2000 for the rest of this week, and then again in 2023. And whatever that decision is, we'll roll with it.
You mentioned the youth, not only players but for coaches, Robert. So with youth, you expect growth and development and so forth from year to year. So are you happy with the growth that you've seen on offense from last year to this year?
It depends on how you look at it, right? If you're looking at just results, you'd say, well, it's not good enough. We've scored 4 touchdowns in the last 5 games. We haven't been able to consistently put together drives. We haven't. So for sure, if you're looking results oriented, but if you're looking at the individuals and the conviction and the beliefs and the growth that's happening, and the experiences that are being had through adversity, you would say, hell yeah, we're growing. Hell yeah, the coaches are growing. Heck yeah, these young players are growing, because adversity, while is not visible to the outside world, adversity is how you grow, especially if you attack it in the right mindset. And you'd be remiss not to acknowledge that guys have gotten a lot better at their process. I've gotten a lot more conviction in how they want to go about things, both players and coaches. And I get the results not there yet, but it's so important to stay within the process and understand exactly can you see tangible growth outside of result? Yeah, I can say we can. Now, is it enough? I don't know. That's where we go back to self-scout and, again, just try to tell the truth and just be honest with ourselves. Is it growth everywhere, or are we just lying to ourselves? And that's, like I said, those are all things that we've got to figure out in this offseason.
Robert, does the way the season ended, is it more frustrating because, a month ago you guys thought you were a playoff team, you thought you were a Super Bowl contender. There's been years where you didn't make the playoffs, and those things weren't really serious goals. This year it seemed like it was.
Yeah, it's frustrating because we got a taste of it. We're sitting there at 7-4, we battled with a Minnesota team that's going to the playoffs. We all the way to the wire. We battled with the number 1 seed in Buffalo. Went down to the wire. Battled with Detroit, who's playing a play-in game this weekend. We took that one down to the wire. And I think the sour taste is over the last 2 weeks. It wasn't our best these last 2 weeks. That's where, for me, just really disappointed in the way we've gone about our business the last 2 weeks in terms of giving ourselves a chance again against a team in Jacksonville that's about to win their division, and a team in Seattle who's got a chance to make the playoffs if they win and get some help. So yeah, it's tough. All of it's tough, but you guys know me. I'm going to look at all the good things we've done too, and all the things in the foundation that's been laid, and how far we've come from the day Joe and I locked arms and walked in 2 years ago, and where we are now in the direction that we are going. There's a lot of things to be excited about, but with that said, it's a tough pill to swallow, because I think we're all pretty excited at 7-4, really looking forward to what could be. Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Robert, do you still have full confidence in LaFleur?
Yeah, you know, I've been in LaFleur's shoes. I've told you guys a story in 2018, second year as a coordinator on defense, and it would have been very easy for Kyle to fire me. Very easy, just say, you know what, we went 4-12. You're the scapegoat. Get the heck out of the building. But to his credit, he sat down. He went over the weeks following the season and committed to me, and the rest is history. You know, so you got to have the discipline to be able to go back and make sure that you're telling the truth about what's happening in the building, and not coming away with knee-jerk reactions that could derail what could be a pretty damn good football coach or a good player for that matter. And that's where Zach comes into play. Not to sit down and just make sure that we are doing everything we can and studying everything we can to make sure that we keep these young people who we've invested 2 years in, make sure that we're keeping them on the track of development and making sure that we're staying committed to the process that we set out to commit to back 2 years ago.
We'll take a few more, Coach. A few more.
Do you feel at this point right now that you have seen and know enough about Zach moving forward, or is that still a process right now? And is it an unknown as you go into the season?
That's the thing. Is like you look at guys like and just go around the league. You look. We'll use our crosstown partners in the Giants, and congratulations to them. But Daniel Jones goes. This is year 4 for him, and he's having a remarkable year, and flashing all the things that made him a top 5 pick. It takes time. It takes time to get these guys in the direct, for them to see the amount of reps they need. And so, could you argue that you haven't seen enough? It's not about whether or not you've seen enough. It's about having faith in that the person you evaluated, the person you spoke to, the person that you've invested in has the ability to get to where you think he's capable of getting. And so the easy answer is, well, just get rid of him, go get somebody new. The hard part is to stay true to your conviction and continue to develop a young man who you know can be capable of doing anything. But again, that comes with time.
Just as a quick follow to that, where do you stand with that though now? I mean, is it still a little bit in the gray area, you know, in terms of your belief, or do you still have a conviction and belief that this is the guy you thought he was going to be?
Well, we've seen it, you know, his rookie, you know, you talk about his rookie year, you've seen this flashes, you've seen spurts. So his rookie year had a lot of confidence in the preseason. I think we all agree. We looked at him in his preseason action and was like, man, it's very composed, confident young man, walked around confident, showed a lot of accuracy. You know, his season got derailed a little bit with an injury. Same thing this year. He misses pretty much all of training camp and or most of training camp, and then the first 4 weeks of the season. So I do have conviction. I do believe in people, especially if people work, and especially when it's as important to people as football, and they work as hard as a guy like Zach does. There's so many more examples in the league where if you love ball and you're really willing to work at it relentlessly, then odds are you're going to make it. And I think if any franchise would recognize that there's so many former Jets out in the NFL that are having a lot of success right now. If there's any franchise that should recognize that, hey, maybe we should give these young men a little bit of time, it'd be this organization.
Robert, do you have updates on Herbig, Joyner, and any other injuries that came out of the game?
Yeah, Herbie. Herbie's gonna. Hopefully, we can get Herbie going this week. We'll have more Wednesday. Joyner, I believe he's gonna be done for the year. Give me the other ones. I'm sorry.
Any other injuries?
No, everything else. Dwayne. I know CJ had the shoulder. He feels confident for Sunday, but I'll have a lot more detail on Wednesday.
And then with the playoffs no longer in play, does that change your personnel usage at all this week? You say, hey, you know what, I want to get a look at Jamie and Sherwood, or I want to get a look at somebody who maybe hasn't had a lot of playing time, or is it status quo? No,
you know, we'll get TA. I thought he did a lot of good things. Adams, he did a really good job stepping in for Joyner. Going to get a really good look at him because I think he's got a bright future for us. CJ's had a remarkable year, and he's earned the right to finish this the way he wants to. So if he wants to play, he's going to play. And especially for the defense has a lot to look forward to. Like it's It's top 5 defense coming from where it was a year ago. I think it's got an opportunity to go finish the season strong, and the offense has a chance to go finish strong. But naturally, with all the injuries we've had on offense, there's a lot of guys getting looks this time of year. But yeah, we're trying to win this one.
Robert,
Last one here.
One bigger picture kind of question. You won 6 games in the previous 2 years. You won more than that in just this year. And probably Jet fans at the beginning of the year would have signed up for 7 wins and playoff contention into the new year, so to speak. Do you think at some point after the disappointment kind of dissipates a little bit, that people will be able to look at that in more of a positive light than it feels like right now?
No, I do. It stings. It stings in this building. A lot of guys are hurting. A lot of players are hurting. But I think when the sting wears off and we reflect on this season and over the last 2 seasons and you look at the guys that have come to light in terms of the Garrett Wilsons, Breece Hall when we get him back, AVT will get him back, Sauce, and then the defense and all the big step forward that the defense took. And I'm forgetting guys, I'm sure. But when you look at the core of this team, a lot of really cool things to be excited about. And it hurts now, and everything's cloudy for everybody, which I understand. But when the season's over and we can sit down and take a deep breath and we reflect, I think there's a lot to be excited about with this organization.